the grand opening at Farragut. I mean, like, truthfully, doesn't matter at this point, probably well exceeding fire code. I mean, it was like, there's a picture on Instagram. If anybody wants to take the time and scroll all the way back to 2017,
Pop it up on the screen here right now.
Man, you couldn't move, man. I mean, it was elbows to elbow. I mean, it was like you could not move.
What's up, guys? Welcome into another episode of the Cutting Up Podcast with Jonas Thatcher. I am, of course, Jonas Thatcher, and today we have the creator, founder of DW Designs, Territory Wrestling Tees, DW Customs, anything, any gear. This is your guy right here, Dan Wilson. How are we doing, my man?
Dude, I'm good, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
How's business going? Business
Great.
going well?
Yeah, things are good, man. Just always grinding.
Yep. I'm still waiting on my hats. Been waiting for 24 months
right?
now, but they'll come one day,
I am
right?
too. No, we just remind me, send me another email. I'm sure it's in there. It's in there somewhere.
I'm the procrastinator, not you. What are we doing today, my man? Same as always?
Yeah, same as always. I think let's leave it like we've been doing the last couple of times. Leave the top just a little bit longer on the front. Other than that, we're good to go.
Everything else
Get rid
is
of this thickness going on here, right?
Yep. Now I know all the viewers are disappointed because they saw the thumbnail, they saw your picture, and they thought we had Hawkeye in studio.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
no Hawkeye.
No Hawkeye. How often do you get it?
Honestly, for a minute there, it was about weekly. I don't know if it was like maybe when the movie had come out. I don't know. But for a minute, I mean, like, I could be checking out of the store and they would just stop and say Hawkeye. I heard people whispering behind me. It was kind of weird. Actually had a friend at one point. We're at an event. She gets a text, I believe from her brother, that's like, "Don't look now, but Hawkeye's sitting behind you." He didn't realize we knew each other, but it's funny. I don't really see it. I think at times, like, if I'm honest, he looks kind of rough. I mean, I hope I don't look as aged in the realm of that. But anyway, no, it's fine. It could be a lot worse, right?
You had a little girl come up to you one time, right? Asking for like an autograph or something?
Yeah, so my son and I were actually eating at Cookout over in Turkey Creek. And this dad comes over, I think it was with his son actually, and he comes over and he's like, "Hey man," and I'm like, "Hey," and he's like, "We're big fans." And I was like, naturally, I'm thinking DW, like maybe they've shopped in the store, seen something on Instagram, I don't know, sometimes I've been interviewed with the news, I just assume that's what they meant. I'm like, "Oh cool, you've been in DW?" And he was like, "No, man." He's like, "My son here thinks you're Hawkeye." I was like, "Oh, cool, buddy." So then I'm like, do I immediately like put on the outfit and impress this kid like a birthday party? Or do I just go, I'm not, have a good night?
If all else failed with the clothing business, which it's not going to, but you could always be in like a
maybe
impersonator.
That's just an extra side on, bro.
It could be. You could go to kids' birthday parties.
Forget days off, Saturdays and Sundays. Book me now for your Hawkeye party.
There we go. Official announcement. There we are. That's awesome. But that's not going to happen because business is going well, right?
Yeah.
Things going well over there?
It's great, man. I mean, I'm just so grateful and blessed. I mean, it's unreal. I still have days where I just can't believe what God's done, man. Just people that don't know, started in my house in 2014, One Design. Literally within 3 months, had my first wholesale account. I didn't even really know what wholesale meant. Fast forward 2017, a store in Farragut. By 2019, moved that store to Bearden, where we are now in Kingston Pike. You know that store on Kingston Pike, that one store?
Yes, the one.
That's pretty easy to find.
It's right next to mine on Kingston Pike.
Pretty close. And honestly, just continue year after year to see growth, and made it through COVID. That was actually our biggest year ever. Then the next year was even bigger, and just honestly, no plans to stop, and just want to keep going. Just keep seeing literally what's in store, and work. Just working hard. Continue to create the best that I can. Original Tennessee apparel and goods, custom work. Grew last year tremendously, and I'm just really appreciative to everyone that follows and supports. It's been amazing.
Definitely. So for those that haven't caught on yet, DW Designs, Dan Wilson Designs. Anybody that's seen follows our shop account, been in the shop, out of the shop, the t-shirts that we had made, the hoodies we had made.
1 year not done.
Year one not done.
Year one not done.
Yep, you did our 1 year anniversary ones, year one not done. You did our first Barbers United ones, which kind of had it in the middle there. Barbers United, Knoxville, Tennessee. We did just black with the black t-shirts, black hoodies. And then you did our second one where we introduced the white t-shirt. We did the Vols orange t-shirt.
Yep.
And so...
Got to throw the orange in Knoxville.
Yes, you have to. Football season came out perfect timing. So yeah, this is our guy. All of our shop work forever will be done by Dan Wilson. So did you start out originally as, because like you said, you have the store here, you have the custom work. Was it initially started as just going to be custom work and then you kind of got to the storefront? Or what was your vision when you first started the company back in 2014, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. So in actuality, and I'll try not to be long-winded with it, but I was working at First Baptist Concord, amazing church. That's where I still attend today. I was working at First Baptist Concord in the media department. And so, designing t-shirts, posters, event details, slides, whatever it is that they needed to promote the church. And by early 2014, I had a church member, Jason Zachary. He's actually in politics. He reached out and was just like, hey, I'm going to run for Congress. I'm looking for somebody to help design my campaign and logo. Is that something you'd be willing to do? And I had never done anything outside of working for the church. Self-taught graphic designer. I just kind of learned as I went. Was not what they brought me on for. I was actually just brought on to help, honestly, get through Christmas. And that was 3 months, and I turned it into almost 6 years of designing and creating and learning the ropes, and did that campaign for him. And then by June of 2014, decided to release a t-shirt design, Born and Raised, had the state of Tennessee on it, just said Born and Raised, real simple design. And within a few weeks of releasing that and posting it, the response was huge, so I created a website and just, it's weird to say, but it just kept going from there, But no, honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. I still feel like I don't sometimes, but it was, DW Designs was literally created to design for other people. And then within 6 months to a year of starting that side hustle, and did both. I worked at the church and DW from 2014 till August of 2016. It was just a nighttime, weekend side hustle until I could make it full time. And so I had no intentions or knowledge of what I was actually beginning when I started this journey. But now I'm 9 years in, and DW website, store, all that, retail sales is at least 60% of my income.
Wow. And
then the custom work, depending on the year, can be anywhere from 25 to 40%.
Wow.
So I still do it all. And I think it's huge to have, I think it's a big part of why I've been able to be successful through COVID, through this year inflation. I mean, I can tell a difference this year already, is that there's different avenues. You cannot just, when you do the elements that I do, the aspect of what I do in business, you cannot just put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
If I only do game day and the football team loses a game they shouldn't have lost, sales go down. If the basketball team doesn't finish strong, sales go down. Like whatever it might be. So learning to diversify and not only be original, but just continue to create in all different aspects.
It's crazy that the city of Knoxville, I grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Mm-hmm. There's a school in Fort Wayne. It's not a crazy big school, and it's got a decent, amount of people attending the school, but it's not sports-wise and all that stuff. It's not of the level of a Division I SEC school. So when I moved here and realized, man, almost everything around here revolves around Tennessee sports, specifically Tennessee football. It is wild. I mean, even being here in the shop on Saturdays and during football season, it's just a different vibe. It really is. And that's so crazy to hear. Obviously, you are directly impacted by it because you've probably benefited a ton with the recent surge these last few years of our baseball program being great, our basketball program being great, our football program being great, being on the national scale. That's probably helped you a ton.
Tremendously. Yeah, I mean, just that. I mean, really the brand started primarily because, and I'm just being real, I'm not going to say any names, I felt like there wasn't any game day apparel in Knoxville that was unique and different that I actually wanted to wear.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can get a power tee at Kohl's, but I didn't, I don't sell licensed apparel. I don't say Go Vols. I don't use Rocky Top. I have to be creative in everything I do to create original Tennessee-inspired apparel and goods. But you know what it means. You know what it's a nod to, and you embrace that. Orange on Saturdays. I mean, I've been selling that since 2015. I'm not tired of it by any means, but it's like I do go into each season going, people aren't going to want this again, and they do.
And they do.
I even kicked off last year. I didn't bring it out, and people were like, "Where's Orange on Saturdays?" And so,
had to bring it back.
Yeah, and so truly, it is a way of life. And I mean, you got to think 2014 to, if we're honest, 2020-ish or so, relevancy in football wasn't really there.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm just being real. Like, everybody knows that we weren't winning. We've been through how many coaches? But it truly is a way of life. It's a mindset. It's a swagger amongst everyone that I feel like when things are good. You can feel it. It makes people happy. This is crazy fact, but when I worked at the church, man, giving was down when the team lost.
That's insane that even the church, which is not, it shouldn't be at all that way, but even the church is affected.
Attendance is down.
That's crazy.
Liquor stores, restaurants. I mean, it truly, it's a huge part of this community, and it's one reason I love doing what I get to do. I couldn't do DW even in Chattanooga. I mean, I could do the outdoor stuff. I could do Bike Tennessee, hike, things based on the water, Chattanooga Choo Choo, that kind of thing. But, the game day apparel and the pride that is here, the literal bleeding of orange, it's second to none, man. And I'm grateful for that. Like, I didn't grow up in Knoxville. I grew up about an hour from here. But my childhood and my weekends were spent watching Tennessee football. And so now to be a part of it, to create the first ever NILT in Tennessee football history, man, like that's something I'll have the rest of my life that I can talk about.
So, at what point did you decide, I'm going to open up a storefront?
Man, I have to think back for a minute because, gosh, you've had a store now since 2017. I mean, really, it was, DW, like I said, started in my house, just a website. And then, I don't know if you're familiar with any of these, and some people aren't, and that's okay. Barn sales are a big deal here in East Tennessee. So I've done some in Middle Tennessee, predominantly Riverview over off Choteau Road in West Knoxville. They do like a spring and a Christmas barn sale. And so you go and you literally set up in these event barns, and you set up for a Friday, Saturday, Thursday through Saturday, whatever it is, and you sell to people. And almost daily or at each one of those events, no matter how many we did, I did school, function, sales, I mean, everything you can think of, just trying to get out there. People would ask like, oh my gosh, I love your stuff, or I've seen this before, like, where's your store? And you can only hear that so many times, right? Before you start going, maybe I should open a store. Because it was just, again, it was like, you kind of have to pay attention. I feel like God leads people in our direction. I think certain things are said, certain things happen. We know things happen for a reason.
Yep.
And so you can only hear that so many times over the course of 3 years before you're like, they think we have a store, like we should probably go ahead and have a store. So that's basically how it started, was just doing that. Working at First Baptist Concord, it was important to kind of stay in the Farragut area to begin with, because that's where my core audience was. For DW, a lot of our supporters went to First Baptist Concord, still do. A lot of our friends. And so Farragut just seemed like a natural fit. So that's kind of how that happened. It was, I guess, spring of 2017 that the first location was open.
How nervous were you? Was there any part of you that thought,
I mean, it was, I mean, I'll be honest though, rent back then at that location was beans compared to what I pay now, right? And so you kind of look at your sales and you look at what you're going to have to pay in rent, just like you do here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it's a mindset of, can I do that? And so when you have $5,000 days, at an event, or, whatever day it might be, or you look and you've done $10,000 in a month in sales or more, it's like, $1,200 a month is not a big deal for rent, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say it was more excitement. I mean, I had no idea what was to come, but it was more about like, just like I'm sure you felt when you opened this place, like,
definitely,
like, dude, I'm not like doing this in a house anymore. Like I'm like, I've got a location,
That's what made me ask that, because I was, I think about it from my point of view. Obviously, I know nothing about the clothing industry, but just thinking off the top of my head, when I opened the barbershop, especially, I can think about opening day, and I want you to talk about your opening day a little bit. But I think about my opening day, it's like barbershops, we run mostly on appointments, at least we do anyway.
Yeah.
And so like going into day one, opening day, I had, a certain number of appointments already that day. So I knew who was coming in. I was hoping, and thankfully we had one walk-in, which made my day.
Yeah,
one walk-in,
awesome.
came off the street, saw the signs, came in, got them cut. That was awesome. We had one. But I also knew like I wasn't going to sit in here empty my first day, because people had appointments and they were coming in. And the other thing with the barbershop is that when someone comes into the barbershop, it's a guaranteed sale. You know what I mean? You don't have to sell them anymore. Once they're here, you're making the money. Once they book the appointment, they're making the money. Whereas on your end, people aren't booking appointments to show up to your shop. And just because they walk through the door doesn't mean they're going to buy something.
Right.
So that's where I was like, do you have a little bit of nervousness with, there is an unknown. And even with me, like I have clients, those clients are going to come back, 95% of the time, and they're going to come back at a reoccurring basis every couple of weeks. People may come to you and spend $50-$60 one day, but they may not be back for 8 or 9 months. You know what I mean? Or they may never come back. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're on a reoccurring basis and you can kind of dictate that. You kind of are on the ebbs and flow of obviously what's going on in the city, what's going on with the team, but then also like people, are they going to buy clothing or are they not going to buy clothing? So that's where I asked, like, what does that look like for you? Because I know what it was for me. I was nervous, but like I said, at the end of the day, I knew, okay, I have a certain number of clients and I know once they come in the door, I'm going to do their haircut. Like they're not going to walk in and then walk out without buying anything. You know what I mean? So that's where I asked, how was that nervousness feeling about opening up and opening day and how all that went?
I mean, again, I just think like God's been in it since the beginning.
Yeah.
I felt like, we'd been to the barn sales. We'd had the huge response. It had gone from one t-shirt design to several, had grown exponentially year after year. It honestly, man, was just a confidence. It just felt like the right thing to do.
Right.
And just trusting that that's what we were supposed to do and like what the next step for DW was. There's no way I could have known this, but the customer retention rate for DW is right at almost 60%.
Wow.
So it's almost like once I get you to buy something, or once you do buy something, even if you have no clue who I am, if you just swing by the store one day and get a t-shirt, there's a very good chance you're going to come back. And I think that's a testament to my amazing staff, that we've worked so hard to make it an experience and not, no one's to walk in and be ignored. Everyone's to be noticed. Everyone's to be seen. And, just making it a special, I don't know, I tell my staff almost daily, like, this is your best friend coming in. This is your mom coming in. This is somebody you're excited to see. We're not going to ignore people. We're not going to, hey, how's it going? We're going to make sure we make each individual feel important and special, because they are. Because without the customers, DW doesn't exist.
Right.
And I knew I had amazing friends and supporters, and and I don't know. I wasn't so much nervous about it. It was an amazing. I will say what's kind of been hard. It was so good. The grand opening at Farragut, I mean, truthfully, it doesn't matter at this point, probably well exceeding fire code. I mean, it was like, there's a picture on Instagram, if anybody wants to take the time and scroll all the way back to 2017.
Pop it up on the screen here right now.
Man, you couldn't move, man. I mean, it was elbows to elbow. I mean, it was like you could not move. And so the thing that was kind of, not hard, it was amazing. That day it was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what, I've been waiting for. This is why I wanted to do a store, is that I've not really been able to duplicate that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so just like you, imagine if your day one, you had I think you told me before, maybe 8 clients a day, 10?
Yep.
You have 8, 10 clients already booked. You had 1 walk-in. Imagine on day one, you had 10 walk-ins.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, then the next year when you do your 1-year party, you only have 2 walk-ins. You're like, oh, like, am I going down? Like what?
Right.
So that's the crazy part, man. It was so good. And we were so blessed that first day. And it doesn't matter. I'm not going to talk about sales, but it was freaking huge.
Right.
Basically, that weekend was the equivalent of what we had done in a month.
Wow.
In some other times.
Yeah.
So, and really it was the beginning of like, DW's been steps, right? So, from the first wholesale order to late 2015, early 2016, getting in with Alumni Hall. So I was with them. They gave me a week trial, basically, in the Knoxville, Tennessee market. They said, yeah, we're going to give it a few weeks, maybe a month. We'll be in touch and let you know what we think and if we want to add you to any other states. In less than a week's time, they reached back out and they said, we want you in every store in every state.
Wow.
So then I went from being in Bradley's, I can't remember everybody, I feel bad that I can't, but being in Bradley's, Gigi's in Cookeville, maybe, I don't think Free to Fly had a store yet. But regardless, being in like 3 stores to 30 stores in 12 states in basically a weekend.
Wow.
Was huge and really gave us the exposure. So, I'm so grateful for Alumni Hall, especially for Bradley's. If y'all don't realize, I do a ton of custom work for Joy and Brad. I love them. They're amazing people. The chocolate store, they've been there since 95. I mean, it's an amazing family that loves people and loves God so well, uses their storefront as a way to just encourage people, and that's kind of what I want DW to be as well,
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was amazing. I was a little bit nervous as far as like, can I do this full time and stay full time running a store, because I'd never done that before. And like I said, didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't go to business school. I truly have a broadcast journalism degree. So it was all new territory. But man, just so amazing. And I really have to stop and think if there's a day that's not going the way I'd want it to, or sales have kind of dipped or not kind of good. Like, dude, you started in your house.
Yeah.
Like, none of us deserve anything we have, right?
Yeah.
So everything that we have, we need to be grateful for. The good days, the bad days. There's so many people that would love to be running a small business right now that either will never start because they don't know how, which is a dumb excuse.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is, because I still don't know what I'm doing. I really don't. I'm not trying to be funny. But I think you could probably speak to that too.
Man, there's so many good things right there that you just said. But I think first off, talk about the humble beginnings, starting in your house, starting there.
Yeah.
And that gets you through those rough days. I talk about that all the time with here. It would have been, I could have started the shop and pumped a ton of money into marketing, filled up the chairs, did a booth rental style, get people in here to help pay the rent, and just tried to blow it up quick. But I thought it was so important to take my time to sit in here by myself, build it from the ground up, and build a strong foundation.
Absolutely.
Because when you go through those times of you started in your house, I started in a house, you know what I mean? And you build up slowly, and then it's just me in the shop, and you build it up during those times when things get tough. That's what's going to matter, is that you have that foundation. You know what I mean? That's going to get you through those hard days, because there's so many people that they want the easy route, right? Like they want to just blow up quick, build this thing up super big. But then when things start to go bad, where's that foundation? You know what I mean? What do you come back to? And I think that's so important with building slowly and really taking the time to do it right, and not just rush and not just looking at the money, but just trying to build those relationships with those people. That matters so much, man, especially like you said.
Yeah.
Now you get to the point where, there are days where there's bad days. There's days for me where there's bad days. And then you can look back and be like, yeah, but man, look how far I've come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look what I had to go through to get here. It wasn't all just happened overnight. It wasn't just easy, because I feel like one of the things that I kind of live by is like, if you can build it overnight, you can lose it overnight. You know what I mean? And so if it takes you time and you put in that effort to really build it, then it's going to last you a whole lot longer. And it's not going to be as easy to lose, because you've already been through those times. And then the other thing I thought was so important was you talked about making each customer feeling so special, make it unique, make it feel like they're really there. And I think that's so important. I've said it 100 times for the people that have watched these videos or followed me. Like, I know for a fact I'm not the best hair cutter. You know what I mean? I may not give the best fades. I may not be that. But if I can give my clients an experience that other people can't give, then that's what matters. And I think that's what makes the difference, because there's always going to be somebody that can fade a little bit better. There's always going to be someone that can line up a little bit better. But where I can make up ground is building those relationships and talking to clients. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You may give a great fade, but you've got 2 AirPods in your ear and you don't say a word to the client. If they don't feel special, then they may go somewhere else. There's a million people that can give haircuts in Knoxville. You drive down the street, there's another barbershop. Same for you. How many different clothing businesses are there that sell different gear and game day gear and different things? But I think it comes down to something that you have, which makes it so unique, that maybe even deeper, is that each one of your pieces, which you've talked about, is unique. You're not just getting the rights. You're not just getting the rights to sell UT gear. No, you have to custom make every single one of your t-shirts, which is a whole lot harder than just putting the Power Tee on a t-shirt and putting it out there. No, you have to custom design. So every day you're trying to think of something new. How can I take something that's Tennessee related, Tennessee football, or the state of Tennessee, which is used a ton, and put my own unique spin on it? And so I think that goes a long way with your customers, because not only are you trying to make them feel special when they walk through the door, but they know that each and every single one of your pieces is special and unique because you're the one that created it, and you had to go the extra mile that most people aren't going to do to create it. So I want to talk about kind of your special pieces and some of the things. Give me these 2 things real quick. First off, give me what's been your most successful design, your most successful thing that you've created, that you've sold in the store, not custom work, but you put it in the store, your most successful design. And then give me your favorite one. Maybe it didn't have the most sales, but this was like your most unique, your fun. It's like the one that you had the most pride in putting out there. Give me those 2.
So the one that's, which oddly enough, like in my opinion, would be Native Bear. So it's the black bear with the 3 stars on it. It's also the most stolen design ever created. It's been out since 2015. I'm just really proud of that one, but it's actually not number 1. The number 1 bestseller is TriStar State. So it's been out since 2015, and it's just a unique take that I did on the state of Tennessee with the 3 stars on it. And so I did that literally first 3 designs. I mean, that was one of my first 3, and it's to this day still the top selling design, and continues year after year, and I just keep printing it. Which I'm grateful for. I mean, it's kind of like, I used to be a songwriter, do some music and things back in college a long time ago. And, you know, you got your hits, you got your top songs, and that's what people come back for, right? And I have to be okay with that. I used to think I had to create 30, 40, 50 designs a year to keep people coming back, but truly it's more about the experience and creating quality designs. And those same designs can sell year after year if you do it right. Repackage them. As far as what design is my, I think you said favorite or most special, it's really hard. I mean, honestly, it sounds really goofy to say this, but it's almost like each one is a kid, right? Like I created these designs from my mind, from my experiences, from my whatever it might be. It's hard to pick a favorite. I love them all just a little bit, you know? There's some that were silly and I wish I hadn't have done, or what it was like, that didn't do very well. But I have to say, as far as makes me the most proud, would probably be the first ever NILT with the Mays Brothers. You know, because no matter if DW stays, I hope to be around for years to come. I hope I do this the rest of my life. I mean, this is, I feel like what God's given me, and something that I can continue to use as a platform to love others and to encourage people and just do my part. But at the same token, if I lose it all tomorrow, like I'll always have that memory that I was, as far as I know, the first Tennessee football NILT. I worked with Spire Sports to create that with Caden Cooper Mays. And no matter what happens, like I'll always be able to say I was a part of that. I did that.
That's awesome. So obviously throughout your journey now, doing it for so many years, you've seen the ebbs and flows, the trends of clothing and the trends of the school and just Knoxville as a whole.
Yeah.
NIL is huge right now.
Yeah.
And with us being so in touch with Knoxville or with the University of Tennessee, it affects everybody around here. So kind of talk about that. You did deals with Josh Dobbs before there was NIL, right?
And so the beauty of that, I didn't have to go through anyone because Josh Dobbs was already in the NFL.
Yeah.
And they can kind of do that. From what I know, I could be wrong, but NFL players, professional athletes can kind of do their own thing. They usually do have representation. I could be speaking out of turn. It may have been with Spire Sports, but I don't think it was. My first one with a pro athlete was actually Scott Stallings.
Oh, really?
So PGA Tour player Scott Stallings, James Clausen at Spire Sports, and I had met and talked, and he's a customer and supporter, and started doing some attitude effort stuff with Scott Stallings.
Okay.
2019, I believe.
Okay.
And then, like I said, I remember getting reached out by James at Spire, and he was like, dude, they're about to make it legal where you can start selling. And NIL, for those that don't know, is name, image, likeness. And he said they're about to make it legal where you can start selling players' name, image, and likeness. And I'm like, what? Because, since creating the company, you couldn't give mention to a player. You couldn't show their jersey number. You couldn't do anything. I mean, I couldn't have them come to an autograph signing, like nothing. So when that happened, it's like the floodgates opened. And so, my game day kickoff that year, I had the Mays brothers there. I had them signing autographs. I had them signing their T-shirts. It's just cool. I mean, it's opened up a whole new world. And now I have, the opportunity, and I'm honored to work with Bridge Management Company here in Knoxville. Did some merch with Olivier Kumwa during basketball season, had him come out in January for an autograph session. Now in baseball, I'm working with Christian Scott. He's got a couple T-shirts. I'm working with Jake Fitzgibbons. I had 3 baseball players come out and do an autograph session about a month ago. And really that's what I love is the events, because that's my way of, and it doesn't matter from a financial standpoint how much is being paid, but obviously the players are compensated for that. And it's legal, and they come out, but it's the reaction on the kids' faces. It's the kid who their parents may not be able to take them to a game, but here they are getting to meet their favorite player or just baseball players in general, and get those autographs at my store for free.
That's so cool, man.
I grew up, honestly, single parent home, not a ton of money, and that's okay. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who've had it much worse. And so I'm grateful that, I'm made it, was able to have a loving family and people around me in my church family that helped make sure I was taken care of. But I don't want kids to miss out. Your childhood is so special and so short. So for me to have my storefront and invite these players in and have the community be able to come in and meet them and see them it's really neat. It's a really cool thing that I didn't ever think I'd get to experience.
So I want to talk about what you're really passionate about.
Yeah.
WrestleMania just happened this past weekend. And what'd you think?
Pro wrestling. It was good, man.
My boy Pat McAfee came out.
It was good. There
worked
was
The Miz. Him and George Kittle double team action.
Shane O'Mac tried to work The Miz and blew that knee out. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Ooh, it was gross.
I'm honestly not much of a WWE guy, but whenever
that's okay. What are you?
Pat McAfee, George Kittle, they start trending, I have to see this. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
But you do follow wrestling, and there's another business that we haven't talked about much, Territory Wrestling Tees. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, man. So I don't care who knows it. I'm gonna come out in the open and say it. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I mean, honestly, and I mean this sounds really silly, but I try to think why do I care? Why do I enjoy wrestling so much? Man, I've had a lot happen in life, right?
Yeah.
And I look back over the years, and it's like, God's always been there, and pro wrestling's always been there. And I'm not kidding. My parents' divorce.
Yeah.
Every Monday night I knew wrestling was going to be on. I didn't know what was going on in my household necessarily. Yeah. My brother passed away in 2016. We lost him. Tragic situation that I wish never would have happened. But I think back to better times with him. I'm like, that's what we did. We watched wrestling. We played wrestling video games. It's just always been there, right?
Right.
And so now I have a son. He's 7. Last year, I took him and my daughter to SummerSlam in Nashville. And so it's just something neat and special. Don't get mad at me, y'all. I know it's not real. And if you think it is, that's fine. It's not.
You just broke some kid's
it's
heart,
not.
man. You just told him Santa's
I just
not,
broke it.
There's no Santa.
It's not one of those things. I know it's not. But it's entertainment. It's an escape from reality.
Yeah.
It's a huge industry. It's just an art form. And so for me, though, what's cool is 2017, I was at the Farragut store. I think the newness of DW had kind of worn off, which that happens. You have that grand opening that's amazing. A few months in, oh yeah, DW's there. I'll go at some point. The store was kind of slow. And I just got to look, and I was like, man, there is nobody that I could tell in the South at the time, other than Collar and Elbow, which great company, great people, that was really doing a lot of pro wrestling stuff, T-shirt wise, design wise. Mm-hmm. And I just started dabbling with it and did my first design, Raised on Wrestling. It went mini viral, nothing major, but kind of caught on. Within a few weeks, I'm on the phone with Crimson, also known as his name is Anthony Mayweather. Great dude, was running a promotion, Tried and True Pro Wrestling. He was looking for somebody to provide merch for their event. So next thing I know, 2018, I guess it would have been, I'm setting up at these wrestling events, meeting Jeff Jarrett, meeting Road Warrior Animal, meeting Kevin Nash, all these people that were huge parts of my childhood, legends in the industry. I'm setting up selling merch at these events, slinging T-shirts for 2 or 3 hours and just having the time of my life. Did a website, so territorywrestlingtees.com. It's still up. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of time to update it anymore. Truly, when COVID hit, all the events stopped. And so I've kind of quit selling merch at those events. But what's been amazing is because of that and the connection with Crimson and Anthony Mayweather, I now provide all the merch for NWA.
Wow.
So the National Wrestling Alliance is the oldest wrestling promotion in the United States. So the rich history that's there, the legends, everything that it represents. And now this little redneck boy from small town Inglewood, Tennessee is producing and helping assist in all the merchandise that they create.
That's awesome.
And so they're ordering monthly. They've got a pay-per-view this week. NWA does. It's in Chicago. NWA Alliance 312. So I just did the merch for that. They got some sweet new drops that are coming that I created one. You'll know what it is when you see it. Just cool. I had the privilege to work with Matt Cardona, former WWE star Zack Ryder. I did some Australian tour merch for him. He provided the design. I made sure the shirts got done. So it's just it's cool. It's cool awesome, to get basically VIP treatment at these wrestling events.
Yeah, something you grew up watching and idolizing.
It's just like
never would have thought.
It's you going to cut hair at NFL games.
That would be amazing.
Or whatever it might be. I don't even know what that would look like, but it's you getting those guys ready. It's you trimming up Kittle before he goes on the field. You know?
Yeah.
Again, man, it's just God. It's so cool. Like,
that's awesome, man.
Where one door closes, another one opens.
Yeah.
And just like I talked about earlier, diversify. When DW's having a slow day, last Monday actually had an amazing day at the shop, which is not normal for a Monday. But then on the same token, I think I had 3 custom jobs come in. And so it's like, it's just cool. And I love wrestling. I love getting to do it. I actually, in the store at DW now, there's a section of Territory Wrestling tees.
Let's go.
Because I don't get to go to the events anymore. And so I feel like a lot of people didn't even know it existed because I was giving so much to DW because it is the breadwinner, the moneymaker of what I do. But there's a whole section dedicated to Territory Wrestling tees in my shop. And so if nothing else, it's a huge part of my life. I enjoy it. I've met some great people through it. And it's something I'm getting to do with my son. You know, he loves sports. He loves pro wrestling. My daughter does too. She's in her tween years phase. She's 11 going on 15. So I'm kind of losing her on the wrestling aspect, but I'm taking my son to SmackDown in a few weeks.
Let's go.
At Thompson Bowling.
Let's go.
And so it's just, I don't know. It sounds silly, but it's just a really fun thing.
That's awesome, man.
That I get to share with my kids, you know?
Yeah.
And I enjoy it.
Check this out, man. Tell me what
Yes,
you think.
sir.
Tell me if it looks good or you want to go any shorter. Try to leave that top a little bit longer.
I think we're good. No, I think it's great.
Good length. Do a little bit of texture in there. I know you like to kind of
just to do a little bit more, give it the Hawkeye vibe.
Yeah. I'll spin you around here. Let you see kind of the back of it all.
Yeah, man. As always, looking good.
Look good.
Feels so much better than when I walked in.
I appreciate you coming in today.
No, dude, I appreciate you.
Before you get out of here, though, I do want to promote your stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Each one a little bit here. So custom work. Let's say somebody has a business here locally or in the area, and they're interested in getting some merch made, or maybe they just have a brand or something.
Yeah.
How can they reach out to you? What's the best way to get in touch, and what does that look like?
Yeah. So the best way to get in touch with me would be through email. You're going to want to email custom@thedwdesigns.com. That's just me. No one else is opening it. There's not going to be some random sales rep call you. This isn't some giant company. Like, it's literally DW Designs.
Yep.
And I design every single job. Or if you have artwork just like yourself, you just provide that. Basically, if you see it on our website, I can do it custom.
Yeah.
From patch hats that we sew in-house, foam trucker hats. I just started doing those. Those are sick. T-shirts, apparel, mugs, home goods. I mean, literally a one-stop shop for all your promotional needs. And I'm happy and honored to do it.
Awesome.
Usually about a 2-week turnaround on that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah. And then what's the actual physical address for the shop?
DW
or is it
Shop.
just Kingston Pike? Find it.
Good luck on that. It's 5209 Kingston Pike. So the easiest way to think about if you're like me and need a location is right across the street from Aldi's.
Okay.
In front of the Goodwill in the Bearden area. But it really is, I'm so grateful to have such an amazing building. It's got the Knoxville murals. You can come by and take a picture there. Just a really cool 2-story white
pretty nice.
building.
I've been in there a few times.
On Kingston Pike.
Nice. And then they can also order online. Maybe they don't live in the Knoxville area. They want to put an online order. What's the online URL?
So it's thedwdesigns.com. You can do as much as you want online. It's flat rate $6 shipping. I know you guys are spending your hard-earned money on my product. I'm not trying to have you spend it on shipping.
Yep.
Spend $75 or more, get free shipping every day. Also do free in-store pickup. So maybe you don't have time to come by the shop, but you are local and you just want to get online and be like, oh man, I want to grab that.
Yeah.
I don't do a ton of stuff at one time. I mean, I'm not Target. So, I'm doing 50 of this shirt, 50 of that, 50 of that hat. And honestly, if it doesn't sell that well, I may not do another batch.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's small batch, and it's obviously unique. And so that's the best way to really get that stuff. And if you are local, you're welcome. People don't do this a ton, but you can call the shop. Hey, I'm going to be coming through. Do you have this? We don't do holds, but you can go ahead and buy it on the phone if you want to. Bag it up for you, have it ready for you when you swing by.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And socials. Give us your socials.
Yeah,
Where
so every social handle is at the DW Designs. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm getting too old for TikTok. I do have one. I don't know that I have any followers. But
it's gonna get banned here soon anyway, so you don't have to worry about TikTok.
Yeah, that's why I'm not using it. That's exactly what it is.
Staying ahead of the curve.
Like it's banned. Who cares?
And then the wrestling. What's the tag for the wrestling tees?
Yeah, bear with me. It's a little bit long. At Territory Wrestling Tees.
Awesome.
Website territorywrestlingtees.com. Again, disclosure: I've not been super active on its social media or website just because I am so busy with custom work and DW. But if you really want to see all of it and you're in the Knoxville area or just swinging by Knoxville, you can come to the DW shop.
And you have something new about to drop with Territory, right? You
Absolutely.
just said with NWA and all that.
Yeah, so NWA merch. Their events this week in Chicago and all that merch. You can check it out at nwashop.com.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Well, Dan, I appreciate you.
Yeah, man,
You're my
thank you
guy.
so much.
I've been slacking. I need to get my hats ordered. It's on me.
You're
it's
good,
not
bro.
on you. I need
You're
to
good.
get, and then we're going to need to get some more shirts coming in. So we'll be in touch. So appreciate you coming on, my guy. You guys go check him out. Go see the store. It is really cool. It's unique. Follow him on all the socials and keep up and hit him up for all of your custom merch, all of your Tennessee merch. And he's the man. So appreciate you, Dan.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.